All right. Hey, y'all. Let me just go ahead and share this video really quick, and then we'll get into stuff, okay? That's up and running. Well, a lot of people use like the countdown timers and stuff, but I kind of like to just share things around, like post this in different places and wait for people to come in and talk to y'all while instead of doing that. So, hey, we already got Schulte here. Cool. Good to see you. Oh, revolt. Yeah. Yeah. That is generally what I hear. Oh, did somebody say revolution? Okay. Revolt. Okay. I'm there. I'm there. I'm all about it. Oh, all right. Paste. There. And be sure. This double check. I know that's like perfect timing that you came in here like just as soon as I started. But yeah, man, I feel like I know you were here last time, but I don't know. There was like a while there that I didn't see you for a while, and I kind of wondered. I was hoping you're okay. I don't know. It's just sometimes it's just like the notifications don't go out and all that stuff. So and with all the craziness in the world, I wasn't sure what was going on. But I know the people that stop in, and especially when y'all are here for years on end, and and are regulars. So I do notice when y'all are missing. So good to see you here. It is. All right. So done. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's very quiet on the internet today. I don't know. It's like on YouTube and everything. I guess there's I don't know, no bait being dropped for the Jerry Springer type material. So I don't know. For some reason, it's just really quiet out there tonight. So there was some stuff that's been on my mind, especially considering last night. So anyway, hello, welcome to Red Economics. My name's Stevie. Good to have you here. And so let's go ahead and get into the topic. So last night we were talking about revolution, revolution. And now this is something we have all been talking about for years now, right? Like we have all talked about it. Bernie Sanders, wrote a book about it. Uh, but everybody has their own idea about it. Like, what does it mean? What are the end results? Like, what are the end goals of the revolution? A revolution ending in what exactly? What does the revolution entail? What does Joe Average Man down the street have to do? What's his job in the revolution exactly? You know what I mean? I think these are things that haven't been clearly defined, and everybody has their own opinion about um, what they want the revolution to be, how it's going to happen, and what it's going to look like at the end. But for me, it's about creating the maximum amount of freedom and minimizing the amount of suffering. So there's a lot of mixture of different ideals, right? I mean, from all across, um, political spectrums. I don't believe in ists or isms. So I'm not going to say like, oh, well, my utopia is going to be Marxism. That's not, that ain't it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying like, it's a hodgepodge of ideas, you know? Um, so, oh, we've got Joshua Minipenny. Hey, I haven't seen you here before. Welcome. I'd love to hear your feedback. This is a give and take kind of live stream. So since you're new here, I like to get on here, say what's on my mind, and then the people in chat, they usually give me information. I learned a lot from the people in the chat. So, I always welcome feedback. So, feel free to speak your mind. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about revolution for a long time, for years now. And just for the few years that I've been here, I've heard a lot of different ideas. Some people have more, uh, radical ideas. I don't know. I guess when it comes to revolution, I'm not one of the extreme. I don't fall on the extreme end of it. I definitely believe in if there's a peaceful option, that we should absolutely take it. That we should not automatically jump to, you know, anything that involves hurting somebody else. I'd like this to be about ideas, about helping each other, a revolution that is fought by building people up, through mutual aid, uh, education, helping, crowdfunding, strikes for workers, things like that. But I definitely don't see how um, any kind of violent uprising is a part of it, because I don't want to be the monster. I don't want to be the monster that we hate. And that's what we can't stand about these people. All of our presidents, or senators, and all these people, they go along with the bloodshed. They don't care about who gets sick and dies on our streets due to lack of health care or homelessness. They don't care who dies from dropping bombs waged on war. So I'm not about that. I think everybody deserves a second chance, even even the assholes at the top, like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, all them. I don't think they deserve an easy out like that. I think they deserve to, be able to change, just like everybody else. So I don't know. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Everybody wants like vengeance. Everybody wants to see like that bloodshed. Well, I wouldn't say bloodshed, but they want to see retribution, revenge. And look, I'm not going to say that I haven't had, indulged myself in a few fantasies of that, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be something that I'm going to act on, because you hurt somebody and that causes a domino effect that somebody wants to come back and hurt you for it. You don't want to do that, because you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the person that, like I just explained, you don't want to be the thing that you hate. You don't want to become that. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and nobody thinks that they're the villain. No, none of these villains out there, I would say most of them, like 98% of these villains that are out there, like doing things, killing people, harming people, torturing people, most of the time they convince themselves that it's the right thing to do. Do they not? I mean, oh, we had to torture some folks. We had to, bomb these countries. Oh, well, if I just do this, it's okay, because in the long run, the ends justify the means. And these are the little things that we can tell ourselves so we can morally compromise ourselves. And it doesn't happen like you don't go from feeding the homeless, right, to dropping bombs on children in the Middle East in one, swoop decision. It comes from a series of moral compromises that you eventually rationalize doing something like that. So I am very, very careful. At least I try to be when it comes to decisions like that. I always try to weigh out the harm because I absolutely, that is everything that I'm about is minimizing the harm that I put out in the world, right? So let's check in with chat, see who's here. Oh, Swag we, I'm probably saying that wrong, but welcome. You're new here. And Chip Disillusioned. Are you Chip from Discord? Here. Y'all check out his channel. He does amazing stuff. Like there's nights that we just sit back and game. There's nights that we talk about psychology, philosophy. Some of it's politics. Some of it's like YouTube stuff. But it's like pertinent, you know, important things that gets talked about over there. And uh, we hash out ideas. Everybody's welcome, from all across the spectrum. And it's just a platform where you can get heard. And I'm definitely behind something like that because that's what I like to do here. So, yeah. And then we have our fun nights where we, do gaming and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely check his channel out. Yeah, it's Chip from Discord. Okay. um, Joe said it's true. Hey, are you new? I know you know my name, but like, I don't know. That name sounds familiar. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yes, it's Fred here. Sorry. Oh my God. Yeah. It's kind of like my spirit cartoon. God, I haven't watched that in ages though. But hey, over here. Yeah. I mean, what best represents what's going on right now, right? Yeah, is this not the sick, sad world we're living in tonight? Like every time I come on here, that's what it feels like, an episode of that. Like tonight on Sick Sad World, Joe Biden bombs another country. Our elections are a sham. The vaccines are killing people. The Great Reset is happening. We're all slaves. Like, it feels like an episode of that every fucking time I come on here. Let's see. Humans don't stand a chance against the people at the top. It's why we are screwed. Oh, it's Dax. Hey, Dax. That's why we are screwed. We can't piece our way out of this problem. Hey, piece, but um, I don't think that we're going to hug it out with Hillary Clinton. I'll put it that way. We ain't going to hug it out. I'm not going to sit there and be like, Hillary, but tell me, what's bothering you? Okay, girl, why are you so angry? Why do you want to kill people so much? Come on, talk to me. Girl time, like that's not going to happen with somebody like that. But there are consequences that we can put on them that can hurt them in ways, or consequences in ways that um, don't don't result in violence. So economic sanctions. I mean, they're a big fan of sanctions, right? They love sanctioning people. So I think that we should put our own sanctions on them. Don't give them our labor, don't give them our money, what little money that they allow us to have, you know. So instead of giving money to, I don't know, like the vote blue no matter who crowd, maybe donate that to a fund that is helping um, workers that are on strike, things like that. Because there has to be consequences, and that's the problem. They haven't had any consequences whatsoever for a very long time, if ever. I mean, every once in a while they'll offer up a tribute, you know, uh, but not very often. Oh, okay. You had me on Facebook a couple years ago. Yeah, yeah. I think I deleted my Facebook from a couple years ago too. Well, I didn't delete it, but I don't. It's inactive. I don't use it. So yeah, Facebook is just spyware. That's all it is. Money and power to make more money. Yeah, and money's nothing but power because with money, I've broken this down before, but I should really get into it again. But it's basic physics. I mean, there is a formula for work. It's like what was it, like labor over, or not work, but for money. So money is labor. It comes down to labor. Well, what is labor? It's amount of you know, effort over a certain amount of time and how much money you generate over it. Anyway, there's formulas for all these things, and it boils down to basic physics. Um, so, I mean, that's all. This comes down to a formula. We have to, you know, have the numbers in our favor for this formula, which you really need. Hold on. I'm going to write that down real quick because I don't want to forget that. Find my. Okay. Uh, right. Physics formula. Labor. Okay, yeah, because I don't want to get too bogged down in that because that's a video in itself right there. All right, back on. Yeah, but all this started from a conversation that we were having. Now I've had many conversations endlessly about the revolution, exhaustingly, you know, over the years, and um, I actually got some pushback last night. Instead of me just spouting off ideas and um, hey Dubster. Yeah, and Dubster was actually asking some really good questions last night too, because he was giving me some pretty good you know, feedback as far as like challenging the stuff I was putting out there, like finding the problems in it. So I mean, I was saying like, okay, I'm not one of those people like, oh, let's just simply go out in the woods and live our life because as we know, empire, the American empire, will not allow that to happen. That's why we go and invade certain countries because we cannot allow an instance of something working that would be that's ideologically opposed to that empire. So it doesn't matter that you know they're not hurting you exactly. It's like the that idea cannot exist. It cannot serve as an example to the rest of the world. So one or two or a few of us may, you know, be able to go out and start like these little communities out in the middle of nowhere and not get like uh not be on the radar. But if people start finding out about that and everybody starts doing that, then yeah, it's going to become a problem and they're going to shut that down really fast, really, really fast. Um, so we have to be able to not only uh, carry out these ideas, but be able to protect ourselves from it. So you have to like look out for like ways that they can come after you. And slander is a big thing. They can, I mean, there's ways that they can even frame you for stuff. Not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong, but let's say drugs, for instance. Drugs are probably the easiest way to frame people. I mean, how many videos have you seen where cops throw, you know, like they'll arrest somebody and then you see them put drugs on that person or plant evidence on that person, right? So that's all they have to say is like, oh, found drugs, you know, sprinkle a little crack on them and okay, that's it. So we have to be very, this isn't just like, hey, I want everybody to be equal and fair and respectful, and everything's going to be, perfect and rainbows and unicorns. And, there are some logistical problems that I never even thought about. This guy, and this is the first time I've talked to him. I don't know anything about him personally or his channel, but his channel is Memories of the Future. So let me screen share that really quick. Uh, okay, so let me screen share that really quick. There it is. Hear that? So here's his channel. It's called Memories of the Future. And he was asking me a lot of excellent questions last night. So he was talking about, one of the instances was, okay, so you need a doctor or a nurse in your community that you started, but nobody wants to be the doctor or the nurse. How do you handle that? Now, I don't want to force somebody into doing something. I don't think that's right. That's not why I would start a community like that, because I don't think that one person should have power over another person. And I said, well, I would go out there and explain to people, like, this is why we need a nurse, or, I would try my best to get people in that community to step up to the plate. And he said, well, what if that fails? And I said, well, maybe we can talk to another community and we can barter some of our goods with their community and say, hey, like, we'll give you, um, some of our preserves or our canned food. And if you could send somebody over and have them, fix this broken bone for somebody, something like that. Now, the problem is that when you do things with that kind of bureaucracy or that kind of democracy, it takes time. So if you're trying to do that, and this is another point that got brought up, is if you're trying to do that, somebody's house is on fire. We don't have time to sit there and delegate and vote and hash things out and have a big, long, drawn out conversation when somebody's house is on fire, because by the time we figure out who's going to go fight the fire, half the village is burnt down, right? So, that these are the problems that we're up against. And so I'm sitting there, I'm still trying to figure out, how do you balance the bureaucracy with the expediency, like in those emergency situations? Is that something that we can maybe figure out before? I think that our best option would probably be to figure that out before it becomes a problem. But, we're human beings and we can't predict every problem, right? So that's just a couple of the problems. Okay, so there's logistics. There's a lot of logistical problems when it comes to the revolution itself. And I hate to use that word because it's so overdone. It's been, co-opted by people like Bernie Sanders, who tells you to vote for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, right? But whatever you want to call it, there are some issues as far as the end result and the way that we're going to do it. So hold on. Let me stop screen sharing real quick and then check back in with the chat, because I'm sure that everybody's probably weighing in on this. Okay. Okay, stop share. So let's see what everybody's got to say about this, because that's a lot of information I just like put on y'all real quick. So Joshua Minipenny, you ever watch Bo, the Fifth Column? You should do a podcast with him. Yeah, I used to watch him a lot, and I don't know, it just kind of felt like he's a sweetheart, he is, but I don't know, the information he was on at the time just, it just wasn't relevant to me. So I just kind of quit watching him. But yeah, I definitely support my Southern and Appalachian people out there. And so, yeah, but I should check back in with him and see what he's doing now. Let me go back up. I missed a lot of the chat. Sorry, guys. Um, Socialism is all well and good, but everyone seems to be at odds or competing with one another. And where do we begin? If one embraces this, what is our starting point? Yeah, I don't know why it has to be so complicated. It's all like all these rules, like we have to put rules in place because there's always some wiener that wants to ruin things, right? There's always somebody out there that's like that doesn't want to like just care about other people. Like they just want to take care of themselves, no matter what. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care about anything like that. So, it's just, you've got to have all these things in place to prevent, the Hillary Clintons and the George Bushes from doing stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you see if somebody like that comes along and sees a community where it's all about, hey, we don't have any written laws, we all just take care of each other and we love each other, they're going to come in and manipulate and destroy something like that. So it's definitely a safety measure to make sure all these things are hashed out, to make sure everything's laid out there, to make sure that people don't join that kind of community or fight for that kind of future without knowing exactly what they're in for, because I don't want anything to be misconstrued. I don't want anybody to sign up for something that they didn't have that intention of signing up for. Like, oh, if I would have known that, well, I wouldn't have been on board with this. Like, I want what we're going to do, and only then can I ask them, hey, do you want to join us? Do you want to help us out in order to make a false bill of goods kind of thing? Let's see. Let me scroll down. Money to have power over the rest. The money isn't real. No, hell no, the money isn't real. They make that shit up. I don't account for much. Yeah, our taxes, when they can versus our tax dollars mean nothing. Most of what our tax dollars actually go to is social safety nets kind of stuff. So it's, Social Security, SNAP benefits, unemployment. That's what our income taxes and our state taxes go towards. Those are the taxes that go to helping other people, like people in our community. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the money that gets sent to out of what we pay in our taxes, most of it does go towards like these big business bailouts. It goes towards war and stuff like that. But most of our it's our income taxes that funds those social safety net programs. And even then, it's just a fraction of what we pay. But, so let me go back to this. Spoon. I was like, James said Spoon is onto something. Please check out his channel, the channel that they allow him to have right now, Jimmy Young Monotalk, because he's already been censored twice now for speaking information, like truth, giving people information. It's very like information, I wouldn't say information dense, but there's a lot of information that he provides that is absolutely vital and YouTube has censored him. This is his third channel now. So please, please, please watch his stuff. And I join him over there every Wednesday. We do a live stream over on his channel because, you know, whatever channel he has at the time, whichever channel they haven't deleted yet. Yeah, Hinkle wouldn't like it. In Emerald City, they also banned me from Discord on that. Oh yeah, man, he was so weak on that. Now look, that's interesting because he'll sit there and he'll debate Bosch, right? He'll let Bosch speak his mind, but he won't let you speak your mind. He won't let you ask questions. You weren't even being rude or condescending or name calling like Bosch was. You were simply asking him questions and he couldn't handle that. So you got banned and shut down. And then afterward wanted to like talk shit. Ooh, it's a failed channel. Okay, well, I'm sorry, you know, you're not a sellout. You know, I mean, if you just go on there and you know, gargle Jimmy Dore's balls, then sure, I'm sure that your channel would get like 1,000 more subscribers, but you don't do that, right? And I don't do that here either. I mean, I cannot. You cannot put a price or a subscriber count on being able to go on here and actually speak your mind about things. Hey, Michael McFerrin. Oh no, they never do that. So Michael wanted to know, do they give him an official reason for channel deletion? No, just you violated YouTube's guidelines. Goodbye. Like that's it. And that's what everybody gets. Nobody gets a specific reason for their channel being deleted or demonetized or any of that. All they say is, sorry, you violated our community guidelines. I mean, we could tell you what you did wrong so that you don't do it in the future, but just figure it out, you know, like just you're going to have to figure that out on your own. Because if we tell you, then you won't do it anymore. And then, you know, you might be able to find a way around it. So just, we're not going to tell you what you did wrong, but don't do it again. So it's almost like they just pick and choose at will. I have literally seen there's a woman on YouTube that does naked yoga. Nothing left to the imagination. It's not strategic like mermaid, like hair strategically covering, you know, her nipples or anything like that. It is full frontal out there. I mean, gynecology exam, naked yoga. And she's out there doing her thing. Now, I'm not hating on her. I'm just saying that, hey, if you're going to have standards, apply them to everybody. But that they're not concerned with her because she's not saying anything that's detrimental to the powers that be, right? She's just out there doing naked yoga. God bless her heart. That's all she's doing. She's not out there. Now, if she was doing naked yoga and talking about how maybe Epstein and McAfee didn't kill themselves, or the military industrial complex, or Klaus Schwab and the Great Reset, or, you know, vaccines are dangerous, or this new vaccine is dangerous, she'd be gone. But hey, girl, do your naked yoga. And nobody will say a word to you. Oh, and the Fed's here too. Might as well wait. Oh God, yeah. I don't know. I probably won't get the new any kind of new gaming system until they come out with the next one. That's how I've always done things because it's too expensive. It's too expensive to do that. Like I can't. I grew up playing Atari, and I was born in '87. So Atari was over and pretty much done with by the time I was old enough to play games. They're doing like Nintendo, Super Nintendo at that time, right? But that's the only time that Atari stuff was affordable. So I just waited until it's like completely outdated, and then I can start playing those games. So, I mean, I just recently got like an Xbox One. I wish I could go to PC gaming, but eventually. right? Goals, life goals, PC gaming. Well, at least I can take that bong hit and be married for a little bit. Oh, God bless your heart. Take one for me too. It's illegal here. Oh, spoonful of dreams. Hey, taxes regulate the economy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean, or I'd have to look into that some more. But thanks for being here. I appreciate your input. Do they give him an official reason? Oh, no, okay, I already read that. Let's see, 16th Amendment. Dubster says 16th Amendment is one of the dirtiest tricks they ever played with us. Made the Fed, FBI, and IRS out of the 16th Amendment. Hold on, let me look at that real quick. 16th Amendment. Nope. 16th. Constitution. Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. So it doesn't matter what the census is. So it doesn't matter what the population is, and it doesn't matter what the amount of income that you make, they can take whatever they want out of it. Is that correct? Well, that ain't good. And we've never had taxation with representation ever, because there was that thing called slavery that still exists, right? So people are getting taxed, and there are people out there that don't get represented. And look at what we have right now. We're paying a lot of taxes, and nobody's being represented except for the people at the top that don't actually pay taxes. So yeah, that's my biggest grief. It's like, okay, this sounds familiar. Doesn't it sound a lot like the Declaration of Independence? Like all those things that we said, like we were bitching about in the Declaration of Independence, saying like, hey, this isn't cool. We're breaking off. You can't do this to us. That was the breakup letter, like your Dear John letter to England. Like, hey, these are the reasons why this ain't going to work, and goodbye. Okay, so these are all the reasons that they gave of like how we can't abide by these things. You're doing this, and this, and we're not okay with it. And all those things, if you go back and you read that, these are all things that we're doing right now to our own people, right fucking now. It's wild. So you want to sit there, like people are celebrating the 4th of July, you're sitting there, oh, if I just vote the right way, everything's going to turn out okay. No, it's all a sham. And Michael Mathern pointed this out, and he kept on me until I finally did the research on it. He kept reminding me, because I was here, there, and everywhere else, and he kept reminding me, look up hybrid regime. Have you looked up hybrid regime yet? Please look into what hybrid regime means. And then eventually I did it, and I was like, oh my God, that completely describes everything that we're living in right now. Because it's like these fake cities that are put up, right? To make it look like that country's doing well. They have these fake buildings, but they're empty. They're just facades. And that's exactly what a hybrid regime is. It's like they say, we have democracy, everything's democratically done here, but it's not. None of it is. It's all a facade. Okay, you can go ahead and vote, but there are companies that literally own our voting machines. And they don't have to disclose any of that information. They don't have to disclose anything about it. At some point, a 12-year-old hacked into it, right? As part of a demonstration. We don't know anything about it. We don't know where our vote goes. We don't know if it's been counted, or if it was counted correctly, or if the vote was flipped or weighted or whatever. We don't know. We just, write it down on a piece of paper and out into the wind. And we got to trust the corrupt people in charge to make sure that it was done correctly. Right? So it's all a scam. I mean, between gerrymandering and voting laws, to where, oh, well, you have to sign up for this party if you want to vote that way, and they put all these bureaucratic ways of inhibiting our votes, right? Not to mention the ones that are off the books, right? The ones where they wait and throw out votes and things like that. If you're a Bernie supporter or if you were a Trump supporter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's that's the off the books methods. They try not to go there. They try to manipulate things ahead of time before they have to go there, but they'll do their manipulation ahead of time legally, and then they try to maybe a little bit here, a little bit there illegally, right? And if you don't believe me, check out the Time article where they bragged about this. They bragged about rigging an election. They literally bragged about it. Okay. I'm so used to like having a back and forth discussion at this point and letting other people talk. Like I'm like, I feel like I should apologize. Like, I'm sorry, I've been talking too long. But yeah, that yeah, Dubster got me set off with that fucking income at the 16th Amendment. Do you have experts in areas or do you wing everything? Like, is there a chief of the fire department or not? And experts do play a role and they should be listened to. And I think that people that were making sound points should also be, because sometimes experts get a little cocky about what they know and they, poo-poo anybody that has anything to say otherwise and just say, oh, well, I have a degree or I read a book, about this. And so it should be about whether you're an expert or not. I mean, experts, somebody that has devoted their time and effort into researching something, definitely please listen to them. But at the same time, if somebody that hasn't done that is still making a valid point, it's about the idea that's put forward. So that's how I see it. Um, Gil, hey Gil, everyone has to learn to be way more self-sufficient. Absolutely, we have become soft, and it's weird because like this is the hardest it's ever been for us. But we're also, I don't think it's a physical weakness. I think it's a mental weakness that we have, that we can't address the problems, we can't see the problems, we can't deal with problems. That's why you see people like with willful ignorance, um, blocking things out, just shutting down. They don't want to have the discussion. They don't want to hear about the information. They don't care. Fingers in the ears, la 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 la. I can't hear you, because it's just like we can't deal with the fact that we don't have heroes out there. The Democrats are not the good guys. The Republicans are not the good guys. Sometimes, we don't live in a completely binary system that because somebody is bad, that means the other person is good or vice versa. That it's sometimes they're all just assholes. And I don't know how there are people that I've met and talked to that are way too old to believe fairy tales like that. Like, it's like, oh, but you know, this party, they really care about us and they really want to help us. So, and Santa Claus is real. And if I step on a crack, I break my mother's back. It's like, dude, bless your naive little heart, but that ain't how it works. Sometimes you're just surrounded by scumbags, and that's who's in charge right now, right? Well, at least I could take this long hit and be married for a little bit. Okay, I read that. I'm like way behind, way behind. Michael Mathern, like the people in our capital city, wonder why they are specifically excluded. Why could the common cause be such a mystery? Yeah, such a mystery. My chat keeps jumping around. Hold on. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good point, Dubster. You can't wait too long because then it becomes an antique and a collectible. So you gotta get that sweet spot in between. You gotta get that sweet spot in between where it's like not quite an antique yet, but right before when nobody wants it. Um, Nude yoga, Schulte said, nude yoga, really, I haven't seen any of that yet. Is it expensive? As long as the first session is free, I might check it out. Joshua Maypenny, Redneck Economics. You ever watch oh, why is this jumping around like this? My chat's all over the place. My computer keeps doing weird things. I don't know if it's the computer or the internet or what. It's slow and then it'll glitch and then it'll freeze up. But none of this started happening until I started using Brave, which I won't watch another YouTube ad ever. And thank God for Brave because I don't have to do any of that with that. I don't care. I'll deal with the slowness. I'll deal with all that because if I watch another Suddenlink ad, I'll chuck my computer out of the window into the garbage. I can't. Yes. Oh, swagweed, mass psychosis. Exactly. Mass psychosis. You've got the bystander effect. I mean, there's all these psychological components, which is, another reason why, I am a part of the Yellow Brick Road community because we talk about that a lot. These are people because I thought naively that if I just did the research, people just didn't know about this stuff, right? They just didn't know that if I did the research and I put it out there, that people would see it and they'd be like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. Well, let me sign up. How can I fight back against this? But that's not the case. There is a psychological component that is keeping people from caring or even knowing. It's their own brain's way of protecting them from this, from what that part of the brain sees as harmful, destructive information. So it just completely blocks it out before the conscious thought can even see it and say, oh, that doesn't sound good. Like, oh, that doesn't line up. Like, how do we even, and I can't fault people for that, that's their subconscious, like blocking that information out, but they didn't make a conscious decision to, say, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to it. That was filtered out before they could even make that decision for themselves, but that's why, the CIA did, MK Ultra and all these other mind control techniques, psychological experiments. That's why the CIA funded or NQTEL funded, Facebook and Google, because they want to know what makes us tick. That's why we have NSA. They want to know the data. They want to know what we like, what we dislike, what makes us, afraid or happy or aroused or angry. They want to know all these things. They want to know what makes us tick. So that way they can push those little buttons and make it work how they want us to. So, yeah. Gerrymandering only done by the politicians who still think the voting system is intact enough and it makes it any difference. Well, they have to do that so that way we can't. So that way, Gil, like the information is diluted. So if it's like a Julius Caesar thing, everybody stabs Caesar, so nobody's the killer. So, if everybody poisons you, nobody poisoned you because you can't figure out if you are being poisoned by this company or that company, by what you eat or what you breathe or what you drink. If everybody's doing it, then they can't figure out who was actually the culprit that poisoned you, which is something that we deal with a lot here in West Virginia and in a lot of places around the world. But that's what it is. It's like, well, they rigged it a little bit here. Should we point at gerrymandering? Should we point at this? Should we point at voter ID laws? Should we point at insufficient polling stations? Should we point at the number of people that are not voting, that aren't engaged in the political system? Who are we going to point the finger at? Because there's so many different reasons why it's screwed up that you can't like just point at that one thing and say, that's it right there. So that way nobody can take specific blame over it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we have the cognitive dissonance, then compartmentalize, and then we won't talk to the other side. It's perfect for the power. Exactly. And look, there's many things, many things me and Dubster disagree on, but when he makes good points, like when he makes sense, and especially the past couple of days, there's been some questions and ideas that he's been saying that I completely, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, I can't, just because he's doesn't call himself a lefty, or just because I don't call myself a conservative, like we can't like have a conversation and figure things out, because that's exactly what it's saying. The people with power don't want us to have those kinds of conversations at all. I mean, there's things that we agree with. There's things that we can work on, together with. Like as far as like the January 6th thing, I was talking about that last night. Like, he's got some information about that, and I agree with him on that. There are topics that we don't, and we've had our fights about it. But hey, we can still work together on the other things, right? We can work together on the things that we agree on. So that's where I'm at. So yes, Joshua, once the masses wake up, it's the exact time they can no longer do anything about it. Then there's no, I told you so. Here's what I'm worried about, because we keep getting less and less, right? It used to be that you could go and work any job and be able to afford a home, support your family, start a family and support them, have a car, go on vacation, pay for your kids' college tuition, have health care, all these things. You could do all these things because you were paid sufficiently. And then they took a little bit away. And you got to retire full pension. You put your 20 years in, and then you're done. You were loyal to the company. You earned them profit. You get to enjoy your golden years in your house that's paid off with your health care and all that, right? Well, I mean, that was for some people. Not everybody got that American dream, but that's what some people got. Then they started cutting back. You start making less and less. They start chipping away at your health care. They start putting more of the burden of the cost onto the worker instead of you know uh, the company taking care of it. So now you've got to by the 80s, it's just like, okay, well, in the 60s or in the 50s, I'd rather, you can afford all those things. You got a job, you've got all those things. That was like height, right, of workers' rights and compensation right there. That was those peak years. And then after that, well, started getting paid. Your wages didn't increase. They weren't giving you as much vacation days. Well, now I can't afford a new car. I can only get a used car. I can't afford out of state tuition for my kids. I can only afford in state. Now I can't afford a car. I'm going to ride the bus, but I can still send my kids to school, and I got a house. Oh, well, now I can't afford to send my kids to school, but they can qualify for grants, and they can get student loans, but I still have a house, and I could ride the bus to get to work. Well, now I have to ride the bus to get to 3 jobs, and it's okay. It's okay because I still am able to have these 3 jobs, and I can't afford a house, but I can still pay my rent. And now I'm getting HUD. I'm living in government houses, but I still have a government house, and I'm still working 3 jobs, and I have nothing to show for it. But hey, they can't take that away. I can't lose that. I can't lose that. So, and then eventually you get to the point where, hey, I'm eating bugs and I love it. And please, I can't afford to lose this. Please allow me my beetles for my government ration beetles for dinner. Like that's where, because we will find comfort in anything that whatever is around us, anything. That is my fear, is that I really thought that if people were deprived, if they were pushed to that brink, that they would eventually say, like, I can't do this anymore. But they will just look out and say, like, I can still breathe. And as long as I can still breathe, I'll be okay. I just got to show up and take my vax and show my passport and go to my work, and everything's going to be okay. And there's just, it just seems like there's no line that they can cross that we won't justify or rationalize somehow. And that is my biggest worry. Sadly, I feel it's going to take something so horrible before the masses get on the same page. I see left and right agree on lots of subjects, but fight about how to get there. That's true too. Quagley, yes, Joshua. Once the masses wake up, it's the exact time they can no longer do anything about it. Yeah, I just it's maddening. It is so maddening because I wish I was either smarter or dumber. Dumber to where I would never have learned this stuff, or smarter to where um, I could figure out how to solve it all, but I'm like stuck in this middle ground of I'm smart enough to know everything's fucked up, but not smart enough to fix it. It's like, can I just, can somebody like just hit me over the head, Flintstone style, just, I don't know, just wipe all this out of my head sometimes, but I'm glad I know it. I'm glad I know it. And if I didn't know this stuff, I wouldn't have met the people that I've met. Um, so I'm very grateful to all those people. Yeah, I'd go through all that hell again of knowing all this stuff just so I can, you know, have the people I do around me. Oh, let's see, Michael Mathern first passed the post voting. Yep, that's another one. Prevents the rise of third parties in response to corruption, because we're refusing to vote for the two parties in power elects your worst enemy. True. This prevents any third party from reaching a critical mass. Yep. This means that corporations only need to corrupt two parties. And that corruption becomes eternal because those two parties can never collapse due to the public realizing how corrupt they are. Because you're always voting for the lesser of two evils, right? It's always about the lesser of two evils. Oh, good night, Dax. Have a good night. Going to go look for some naked yoga to watch. Some important movies in the 70s. Hey, whatever you got to do to get through the day, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta go. You can do what you can, and this is what Jimmy, uh, Montauk, Jimmy Young, the channel I mentioned earlier, my husband. That's what he was saying. I always like that saying that he said. Let me get it. I can't keep up with the names. I'm sorry, babe. Jimmy Young Montauk. So yeah, there's a saying that he told me, and I've always liked it. Do what you can when you can, and that's all you can do, basically. So go out there, try to alleviate some of the suffering, put some goodness out in the world. And at the end of the day, you got to just relax, you know, watch some TV, read a book, listen to some music, and, you got to take care of yourself and, before you can take care of others. So you got to have that downtime, right? That's another thing that he taught me about, taking care of yourself, because I would always like burn myself out as far as like trying to push myself, like I gotta do this, I gotta stay up all night and take care of all this stuff, I gotta learn this stuff, I don't have time to rest, I don't have time to have fun. Just like, well, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So valid point. And I still struggle with that. I do. I'm not good at it, but I try to remember it. Okay. Um, where did my live stream go? There it is. Okay. Oh, Will's here. Choosy Heretics, choose Carnation Revolution. Now, you've been doing the Michael Mathern tactic, which is constantly reminding people, hey, Carnation Revolution. So that's another one. Let me write that down real quick, because I want to, if I write it down, I'll remember it and I'll actually research it, because Carnation Revolution, from what you've been saying, is a peaceful way of doing things, and it's by working with um, the military, right? So you I think it's about winning over the military, getting them on your side. And I know I'm really dumbing this down and oversimplifying it, but it's about building that bridge with the military, correct? So let me write that down real quick. I got some notes. I love this. See, this is part of the reason why I do these live streams is because, hey, I learn, hopefully y'all learn some stuff from me. But a lot of times I learn stuff from y'all. I mean, I would say at least half the time I learn stuff from y'all. I mean, there's so many ideas, ways I wouldn't have thought about things, and it's because of the people in my chat. But it's never about me just sitting here and you got to believe this and this is the good and this is the bad and you got to believe this because I said so. That would be so ridiculous. Uh, yeah, I'm just grateful for everybody here. And recently, I've started up like a couple of donation links and stuff, and I've had some people help me out. When I was in a tough spot. So like Snork Y2K, DJ Elf7, Shadow Band, with everybody. Shadow Band, DJ Elf7, Snork. Yeah, and they've helped me out when I was in a bind. So I just really appreciate that. I don't always get on here and you know put that information out or ask for donations, but only when it's needed. Okay, if I can make do on my own, or if we can, then fine. But if things get a little, you know, uh, tight, then I'll put that information out there, and that's only for people that can't afford to do it. Please, never, ever, ever. I do not want your money if you are broke. Please do not put yourself in a bind to ever donate money. Okay, like that's not what this is. Just like if you got a couple extra dollars and you don't know where to spend it, kind of thing. Don't ever, 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 ever do that. And shout out to Yellow Brick Road and Propaganda for helping me put all that stuff together and promote those. So I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm not good at asking for help. I'll say that. I'm not good at asking for help. I love to be self sufficient. I hate asking people to help me. But when I do, you know, it's usually because, hey, I can't be that prideful to where I'm just going to like set fire to myself, right? So, and it's so nice that everybody is like really just try to help me out in any way that they can. And it doesn't have to be like, monetarily. I mean, just helping me put together, the using the right apps like Prop did. He was directing me towards hey, don't use these ones, use PayPal or whatever. So, stuff like that. Just, any kind of help as far as research or point me in the right direction or hey, check out this idea. It there's been so much kindness like directed my way recently that I'm very, very grateful to everybody. And I had to say that because, I don't usually ask for help and yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's new. It's kind of new. Um, I've had it happen before, but it's nice to know that I've got people that have my back, right? And Jimmy too, because he's been like, just go out there and do these videos. You've got to do your videos. You got to do it. You got to go out there every week. You got to just do it. Just say something. Say something. You got all this research. You got all this in your head. Just go out there and say it. So I'm very grateful for the people that I have in my life that are positive, that are a positive influence. Um, yeah. One important thing for me to remember is no matter what I'm doing, always be the best I can. Yes, always try your best. Hey, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to be the best. But as long as you're doing your best, that's what counts. That's what I tell my kids. Don't be an asshole. There's two rules in my house. One, always try your best. Always give your best to no matter whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's, cleaning, cooking, grades, sports, whatever it is, always give your best to what you're doing. And the other one is don't be an asshole. Just be respectful to others. You know, treat them the way that you would want to be treated, and just don't be a jerk. You know, it's just two rules. Try your best, don't be a jerk. And most things fall under those two rules, right? Most things would fall under those two rules. It ain't charity, it's a business deal. We want more Stevie and Mana in the world to help make the world better. Yeah. Oh, we try, man. That's what we, you know, he wants to help people. He wants to make a world that's good for the kids. And I want to leave the world a little bit better than how I found it. Because look, I inherited a shit show of a world, right? It's a sick, sad world. And that's not the kind of world I want to leave behind when I, you know, shuffle off this mortal coil. You know, I want to actually like leave something that's enjoyable. Enjoyable. Okay, so the best, oh, I forgot to do it. I forgot to put it in there. Okay. So let me look really quick. I gotta get the let me get the links up and all that. So hold on. Give me just 2 seconds. I got it. All right. So say yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna be inauthentic, man. That's the one thing I can't do. That's the one thing I cannot do. It's like it feels phony and gross and icky, and I can't. So pretty much, I know I've got a cash app. Hold on, cash. I know my last video, I put it in there. Oh, cash.app. That's what it is. Cash. I'm not good at this. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not good at this kind of thing. I don't even put it, I forgot to put it in the freaking description. All right, let's try this again. All right, cash.app. Everything should be under Redneck Economics, I think. So if I do that, real quick. Hold on. It should be in my history somewhere because I was just there. Give me 2 secs. Anyway, let me see what's going on in the chat. Dubster, jerks get stuff done. Whoops, gave up my secret. Dubster, but the things that you're being a jerk on, I don't work with you on. If you're going to be a jerk, I can't do it. Sorry. It's only when you're having like an honest discussion with me that we can actually do things. I don't work with people like that. Like you're half and half, man. Half the time, like I can work with you, and the other half, I'm just like, what the fuck? Open nail. Okay. So if I go to my videos and the last one, weird is it not that it's been so quiet tonight? It's Tuesday night, ain't nobody posting anything. Okay, here we go. Found it. Got a Venmo, got the Cash App, and then I got the PayPal. And like I said, y'all better not donate if y'all can't afford it. Swear to God. All right, so I'll post it in the chat for right now, but I'll leave it in the description. That one. Now, these are the ones that the Cash App and the Venmo require email addresses. And that's what Prop was saying, is like some people don't want to do that because they don't want to give up information like that. Or there was something about it that it requires you to sign up for it or whatever. But let me get to the PayPal one, because he said that was probably the best one to use. Let me get the PayPal one. This is not, I hope to anybody new that's watching, I'll let you know, this is not a polished professional channel. So if you're here for the graphics or for the professionalism, it ain't here. I'm going to find it here. All right, and there's the last one. There's the PayPal one. So those are that's that, because just for whoever might want it, no pressure, right? And it doesn't mean that there's some channels that do like a quid pro quo. Like if you donate money, I'll cover a topic you want. I'm grateful. I'll thank you, but you know, no special privileges, because that's a slippery slope there. That's what it takes, man. I mean, like we have to just start crowdfunding this stuff. I mean, that's why I want to start these crowd funds for people going on strike. I want to be able to support people that are doing the work. Allie and Glory and Red Sea, they're writing all these articles, and they're devoting time and energy, and they're doing the work to do all this stuff. And they're still having to hold down, jobs. I know Allie's working and she's trying to do all this stuff and balance that with work and stuff. So it's just, there's a balance. And I know when I was working full time that I just didn't have the right balance for it. I was just so exhausted. It's exhausting. It is. And I don't want to rely on something like that. That's why I said I only do it when I need to. But um, yeah, it's weird for me. I try not to. I try to make this more of a hobby, to where it's like a fun kind of thing. I don't want it to be like anything to complicate it. I just want it to be a pure me doing research and giving it out to people. But hey, when times are tough, you gotta do what you gotta do. As much as possible, I try my hardest not to judge others and not judge myself, and to relinquish my need for self approval and not take things personally. I work on this every day. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, it is. That's a huge thing, because, you know, a lot of times we'll treat other people better than we do ourselves. I mean, I got onto my oldest tonight, because he's like, oh, he did something. He's like, that's stupid. I'm stupid for that. I said, I would never allow anybody to talk to you the way that you just talked about yourself, ever. Don't do that. Treat yourself as good as you treat other people. Good girl. Would you say that about somebody else? No. And don't say that about yourself. Be kind to yourself and others. I feel like I've been ranting now for like 3 hours. How long have we been on here? Oh, I'm coming back one. Oh, that's a little over an hour. Yeah, I try to keep them about an hour. Lord have mercy, back in the beginning, I used to do live streams that were 4, 6, 8 hours long. I used to do like Yelbro sessions, right? I did, but now I try to keep it under, at least under about an hour, roundabout. Let me get back on here, close out all this stuff, and all right. All right, we're back on. So let's see. Yeah, I want to see the four horsemen unite. Ali, Stevie, Sebs, and Mona start a damn channel together and take over YouTube. Oh my God. Yes. And then add Glory too. Holy shit. That is like my dream panel. I want to have like just a panel of the women out there. Because I usually interview like people here and there. I've interviewed Misty, I've interviewed, but most of the time it's like Jack's here. Hey, Jack. Yeah, Jack too, man. He's been so helpful teaching me about crypto and stuff. Oh my gosh. But yeah, dude, that is like the power panel I want to have. And then there's other ones that I want to do with like, I want to have Anthony, Prop, and Jordan. I want to have all y'all on there. Like I wanted to have like a panel on here because there's so many times that we've had conversations on Discord where I'm like, this is like a killer video. Like people need to hear this conversation. It's so good. Like we need to have this conversation. But I know I'm going to be going on with Memories of the Future. That's the guy that was saying that was asking me questions last night about, what's the end result of the revolution. So I just really liked his line of questioning. So I'm going to go on with him. I don't know much about him, but whatever. I think it'd be a good conversation. I just say, oh, those, I miss these late night chats. Oh, yeah, I know. It's like I've grown up and, I'm trying to be more responsible and go to bed or, take care of my kids and stuff like that. I used to be young and be able to do it all. And, like, oh, I've had 2 hours of sleep. I can just do all this, whatever. Can't do that anymore. Can't do that. Getting old, man. Getting old. Can't do it. All right. Yeah, God, I would love that. Yeah. Okay. Allie, I know you're busy. Glory, I know you're busy. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. We're going to do our panels. It's been a while. Like I'll go through these periods where I'll do like a bunch of interviews and a bunch of panels and then a lot of solo stuff. I've been doing a lot of solo stuff. I need to get back into the panel discussions. I think that's where I'm at my best. It's when I have other people to bounce ideas off of. So, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wind down on this one. Crypto has been crashing. The only plus is I've been able to sell call options on my Bitcoin stocks like crazy. Don't know what call options are, but I know that the Great Reset is definitely Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum. They're definitely interested in crypto. So I have to learn more. That's why I was like, I don't know, all this technology stuff. I'm like, it's boring and my mind automatically shuts off. But when I found out that the World Economic Forum was interested in it, I was like, oh, I got to learn more about this. God damn it. And it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be super complex and boring and a lot of, technological stuff. But so far, any of the questions I've had, Jen walked me through it. So I've definitely had, a support team there with him and everybody else in Discord. So once I can talk about it somewhat on a beginner's level, then we can do our video. But I still got to learn about like blockchain and all that stuff, which Red Sea is writing an article about blockchain and schools in African countries. So I gotta do a video with all these people, man. There's just too much information. That's like what happened. I got bogged down because there was like, oh, this amazing thing is happening. Oh, this important thing's happening. And there's so many important things and so many things to research that I was like, I'm having ADHD and I don't know what to pay attention to. And so I wasn't really fully giving my time to anything, and I wasn't being effective in it. So I'm starting to prioritize the information. So, and just figure out what needs to be talked about. And I can't do all the research, so that's why I need to have people like Red Sea and Glory and, you know, Jordan and Allie and all these people that can get into the weeds with stuff like that on my channel, so that way we can have these discussions. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down. I'll post all those links again in yeah, that's a good point, Jack. It's complicated on purpose. Yeah, nobody wants to make making money easy, that's for sure. um, so yeah, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I'll post those links in the oh, and another thing, we're working on a website which I've absolutely neglected for like at least a month or two now. I was doing work on that, and I haven't done any work on it. So let me just add that to the list of things I need to do. But it's DIYliberty.org. So that's where we're trying to consolidate all this information that we talk about on here, consolidate on there. It's supposed to be a toolkit for people wanting to work outside the system or to, you know, push back in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be, you know, anybody that's into self-sustainability, activism, it's the toolkit for that. So we're compiling a lot of information, putting it into one article, crediting those people, and writing out a step-by-step, you know, information guide to how to do these things. Like, you know, we talk about going off the grid. We talk about, you know, not sharing data online, or, you know, we talk about cryptocurrency, or, you know, protests and stuff like that. But, you know, for a lot of people that are new to it, they don't know where to even start. So instead of wasting time like going through and trying to learn things, and, you know, checking out, oh, well, that resource wasn't reliable, or those people were grifters, and all this stuff, like having to learn the hard way like we did. I want to consolidate the information to where it's quicker, it's efficient, it's easy, and all the you know, accreditation, all that will be on there, so they can go and verify all this for themselves, right? So that's our goal. We just want to make things easier. We just want to make things a little bit better for people. So that's what we're trying to do with that website. But yeah, so let me post the link for that in there as well. Oh, I feel so bad. I've been so wrapped up in stuff. I totally have not worked on that. DIYliberty.org. Hold on. All right, I wanted to make sure it was .org. DIYliberty.org. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, that's my long-winded rant for the night. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. And, you know, I'll post all those links that I posted in the description box too. So if you need a reference for later, it'll all be there. But anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for all the information and the conversation, and I will catch you next time.